Hello, today's Bible study comes from the book of Luke, 2nd chapter, verses 41 through 52, and it reads as follows. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were unaware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled for a day. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. Oh, excuse me. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who had heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" But they did not understand what he was saying to them. Then he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. But his mother treasured all these things in her heart. And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. Well, this is when Jesus is at the temple. He was 12 years old, and every year his parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. It was their custom. When he was 12 years old, they went to the festival. And at this time, when they got there, after that festival, Jesus was gone. They thought he was with them, so I'm thinking there had to be an entourage or something that would make it seem that Jesus was there, but they couldn't see him, because if it was just the two of them and Jesus, I'm sure they would have noticed it. So Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, and they weren't aware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day, so they were gone for a while. They then began looking for him among their relatives and friends, so that tells you that there were people with him. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts. He was in the temple, and after 3 days, they found him. So he had 3 days to be there schooling and teaching and everything. So they found him in the temple court, sitting around the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed. Just to hear the Lord speak would have to be amazing. Excuse me. They were amazed at his understanding and his answers of the word. He was telling them and showing them. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this?" They're questioning him because he wasn't where they were, and they had to backtrack to get him, and he was supposed to be with them. So why are you treating us like this? "Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." So they've been looking for him, but they didn't look in the right place. And he says, "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house? Who is this young man? He is the Messiah. Where else would he be except in his father's house with a capital F? They didn't understand what he was saying to them. Not at all. They didn't know what he was saying. Then he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. He was obedient to his parents, but his mother treasured all things in her heart. And as it says, Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. Jesus' growth was happening. Amen.